First thing we like to do is hit the ankles. So we'll start off here, internally rotate, and we just open this up 5 to 6 times, just working for that stretch on the outside wall of the ankle right there, and then switch it. So again, when we start talking about squatting and cleaning and deadlifting and jumping and all of those things, a lot of the issues that we face, matter of fact, I had a basketball player yesterday having a lot of hip problems. And so I started working on his ankles, and they were stiff as a board. And once we got those to loosen up, he started feeling some relief in his hips. A lot of times we just have some nerve catch up, and that's some stuff that's really important. So on the inside wall of the ankle, we just work inside and just work that stretch. And everybody's going to be a little bit different, but we do want to make sure that we're working into those positions. Maybe I should back up, might help in the camera. Now, another one we like to do, I'm going to turn around. So actually, I'll turn to the side so you can see it. We like to hit all 3 aspects of that ankle joint. So again, this is where not having a shoe on or having a flexible shoe will come into play. But put the foot right behind you, just like that, like your toenail is touching the ground, and just lightly pull like you're going into a squat. And it's like you're pulling your knee away from your big toe. And we're looking for that stretch right in there. Again, 3 to 5, depending on the person. Then heel out. So you'll see my heel go out like that. Now we're looking for that outside wall. And then we go foot out, heel in. And again, pull that knee away from the big toe and do that on both sides. And then from there, we go into the ankle circles. Now, again, you're going to notice as we go up, these are all things that we'll do in the beginning. Ankle really being the one that kind of gets the most damage, for lack of a better term, and the most pounding, because those are the things that, we're hitting the ground right there. So yes, a lot of times we'll end up feeling the pain up here, anywhere, but a lot of times it happens down there. So we like to get that mobility going in the ankle. And then up to the knees, we're going to move around, just get that circle. Now you'll notice as we do this, I'm keeping my heels on the ground as close as they can, but I'm actually moving around on the balls of my feet. So again, working that position of my balls of my feet and my toes, but then I'm also lengthening my Achilles tendon as I do that. So working up the chain. From there, we'll go into hip pendulum, is what I like to call them. So just let your foot dangle, moving it back and forth. An advanced version of this is moving it here and then behind you. Now, again, if somebody doesn't have the balance, we don't want them to practice falling. So if there's a rack, if there's a wall, if there's something like that, if there's a partner, they can even put their hand somewhere. Again, if it's on a rack or a wall, obviously during the times that we're facing right now, touching another person is probably not the way to go, but give them balance. We do not want them to fall. So if they're doing this and constantly falling, obviously we don't want to remind the brain, hey, fall, 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 because as soon as we're done with this and you go into a dynamic warm-up of some sort, well, now they've been practicing falling for 2 minutes, and that's not a good idea. So another one for the hip, 45-degree lunge step. Back leg is straight. What I like to tell my athletes is from the hip down to the heel is an iron rod. It does not bend. Front leg is bent, and we're drawing circles like you're going around in a hula hoop and trying to keep this just kind of moving around. It's relaxed. It's moving. You'll feel a stretch in this hip as you come through and go in both directions, and you go on both sides. Then we go into the lumbar. So slight knee bend. So the way I like to describe this to people is drop to the side, drop this shoulder down as if you're a zombie, and then pretend there's a rainbow. You're drawing a rainbow with your nose as you come around, and then open it back up and go through the matrix, drop it down, and go. We'll go 3 circles that way, 3 circles that way. Now again, when we go into stretching, a lot of times where's our biggest focus? Well, major muscle groups down here. And we're not actually getting into the spine. And a lot of things that we're going to do dynamically, whether it's in sport or in a lifting situation or just a basic sports performance workout, there's going to be a lot of movement in the spine, and a lot of those muscles aren't getting stretched. So in turn, they tend to tighten up, and then we get some issues, residual issues going through, where that's some onset of the low back. We'll get some hamstring issues, maybe some sciatica, maybe some shoulder issues because the thoracic spine is too tight. So we get a lot of those things going on, and we need to pay attention to those. And again, giving it that information, brain information of movement prior to going into a workout is huge. So there's 2 thoracic ones that I like to do. Thoracic spine. So one would be sitting on the ground. One leg up, one leg bent, interlock the fingers, drop it on the shin, sit nice and tall, and then keep your shoulders where they are. You're trying to separate your chest from the knee. Breathe it out and come up. Another version of this is being able to turn. So you take this inside arm here, rotate across, and do the same exact thing. Now you're also going to hit those muscles right out here, your lat and everything connected into your spine. And then neck. So then we like to go into the neck, side to side, and rotate around. And then we'll go into the shoulders. So one of my favorites is actually going into a figure 8 because we're also working some coordination. So pretend there's a whiteboard here and a whiteboard here, and you're drawing 8s. And then ask them to reverse. Same thing, we can go into the elbows and wrists.